Representing the Bay.
Yes, sir, you know it.
Congratulations on this win.
Thank you.
This win, from your perspective, what was most impressive? What are you going to hold dear to your heart most of this game tonight?
Just seeing the guys push through, just watching the offensive line, the way that they work all week. Last week it was talks about us. We weren't able to run the ball, but they came out and showed it today. So to be able to see them to be relentless and go out there and put up the numbers that we did in the run game, it was awesome to see.
Sure was.
Did the Vikings surprise you not blitzing as much as they typically do?
I wouldn't say it surprised me. We heard early on in the press conference, B-Flow over there, their coach, he said that they got to pick their spot. So we knew whenever those spots did come, I had to find my answers and know where to go with the ball. But today they didn't blitz, like you said, as much.
Yeah.
Coach Morris told me before the game, he said, we're going to make this an old school game. They got to stop us running the football. We got to stop them. Was that kind of the mindset coming in?
Yeah, for sure. Doing whatever it takes to win. That's what it's always about. Just trying to find a way to win. And today it was in the run game, and the guys, they displayed that very well.
Why do you look so comfortable against the blitz? When you have a lot of young quarterbacks, they get really nervous, and despite all the different movement, all the guys stepping in, the B-gap, mugging, you seem very comfortable, and you know exactly. Where did that come from?
Just seeing a lot of football. Being through a lot. My history of, just injuries and stuff like that. I just go out there and just play free. Play free of worry, free of doubt, free of expectations, and go out there and play for God's glory alone. So, I know all my outlets. I know the guys I have on the field, and, I just go out there and be the best version of me I can be.
Absolutely.
First drive you guys have, you're down in the red zone, and it's a 4th and 1, and I don't know if it's the noise or the play doesn't come in quick enough. You're that's as hyped as I've seen you. Come on, get me this play. Yeah. What was going on then? What was the problem?
Just some miscommunication, that's all. Things that we know we'll clean up in the future, but at the end of the day, it's my job to be able to go out there and get the offense set and get us in a play so that we can go out there and execute at a high level. So I got to do better in that stance.
I thought it was really interesting. You mentioned listening to Brian Flores' press conference and him saying, we're going to pick the spots to Zach Robinson, your offensive coordinator, we talked to him before the game. Same thing. He goes, we listened to the press conference and said, we're going to pick our spots. Right. What's going through your mind when you see a blitz coming?
Know where my outlets are. Obviously knowing the protection that I'm in so that we can get into a protection so where we can pick it up. And if they do bring an extra guy that we can't handle, knowing where my outlets are, knowing where I'm hot at, and be able to get the ball to the guys.
Zach Robinson seems like he's an easy guy to kind of talk to and communicate. How has he helped you develop as a quarterback?
Yeah, I say the biggest thing is trusting in me. Trusting in me in this offense. Keeping the whole offense open and allowing me to go out there and play football. And I feel like our relationship has grown. Since last year. Each and every day, just talking to each other. Just getting a feel for how him getting a feel for how I play, me getting a feel for how he called the plays, so that we can be on the same page whenever we're out there.
What about that offensive line? You got to give props to them, bro.
Oh man, it's hats off to them. I mentioned it whenever I first came on, but man, they've been working extremely hard all week. We heard a lot of the naysayers, saying we couldn't run the ball and stuff like that, and how we couldn't do that with Bijan and Tyler. But those guys showed it today. They show relentless effort all day, all week. Leading up to today. So we knew whenever we came in here what we were going to do.
DJ Williams, your quarterback coach, told me that he was not concerned about you at all tonight and what you were going to see, because last year's game you weren't even playing, but he said you're right on the edge of the sideline looking at every play. Hey, here's where the ball should go. I'm into this. And you almost played this game last year in your mind. Is that the way you approach things?
Yeah, for sure. Whenever I was out last year, all I can do is take the mental reps. The only thing that you don't get is obviously the physical aspect of it. I can be on the sideline and say, I would have threw the ball here, but obviously, knowing you got a rush coming and stuff like that, so just taking as much mental reps as I can so that whenever my time did come, I could just go out there and play fast.
Kyle Pitts is a guy that I always talk about with the level of talent that he has. What advice did you give him? I know you're close friends with him. What advice did you give him to kind of forget about the naysayers and just go out there and play?
Just be you, man, and trust in this offense. Trust in your abilities and trust that I'm gonna find you whenever you get open and get you the ball, and that's all it is. And obviously, like you said, we built our relationship over this off season. We spend a lot of time golfing and stuff together. But a lot of them conversations are always like, "Hey, man, just be you when we go out there, run fast. When you play fast, nobody can stop you. You're a mismatch, to a safety or a linebacker." And he showed that a couple times today.
Yeah, it seems like it's working because he's out there playing with great effort, and he's productive.
He is.
Right.
Michael, I got to ask you about your release, your throwing motion. I mean, this is lefty lightning now, the way this thing comes out. How do you get the ball out so quick? What do you think about with this throwing motion?
I don't think.
That's the point.
Yeah, I just throw it.
Have you refined it? Have you always just been able to get it out like that?
I was always told I was always a quick release guy. I don't know where it came from, but it's good.
It helps, doesn't it?
Hey, let's check out
watch
his
one.
release. Let's check it out.
Watch one. Hey, talk us through this motion. Even though you don't think about it, at least you could tell us how you see it. I mean, the footwork's pretty.
What are you looking at right there? Are you looking at the safety and kind of baiting him, trying to hold him?
Yeah, on that one, I was looking at the linebacker, you know, trying to move the hook curl backer so that I can get that curl window. So I was taking my eyes away so I can get it to Mooney on that curl.
He sees things before.
That's what I was going to say.
You just have, it's a gift. We're trying to figure it out. But it's like a defensive player that has tremendous instincts. You have those instincts as a quarterback, and it's rare for us to see a young quarterback like that.
Yeah, it's just a lot of reps, you know, and a lot of confidence in what I'm capable of doing. And obviously, you know, for me, whenever I'm out there, I know that the defense, they don't know what play we're running. Right. So I can move a guy with my eyes and be able to complete a ball right behind them, because at the end of the day, they're watching us, especially when they're in spot drop zone and stuff like that.
But do you know most young quarterbacks don't think like that? They don't process the information as quickly as you do. That's just what it is. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You're not a young quarterback.
Right.
You played a lot of snaps in college football, and you know, it's showing. It really is.
I appreciate you guys.
You know, Michael, we always talked about you were playing too damn good to be 1-3 as a starter. So how did you keep a positive mindset, even though the results in the win column weren't necessarily there fast?
I just know it's not always going to be perfect. You know, things not always going to go how you want it to go. But at the end of the day, for me, I want to be able to go out there and display my best that I can for our team to help us be in position to win football games. And when we do, it's great. When we don't, we got to find ways to clean it up so that we can the next week. But I don't focus on those things. I just focus on what I can do better to help this team win.
Now, you guys just coming off a big win. You just came out of the locker room. What was your message to those guys in there after the game?
Man, it was just awesome. And I went to every offensive lineman, you know, just telling them, you know, it was great to see what they did today. You know, hearing them in the huddle, you know, I'm not going to copy some of the words that was said, but, you know, just
Do they get fired up when you run the ball like you guys ran it tonight?
They got fired up. They said keep running it, and we did, and we were successful. Also went to Coach Brick, man. Obviously, you know, seeing what the defense did today to be able to hold them to no touchdowns and go out there. It was one drive early on in the game where they got down to the 2-yard line, and we held them to a field goal. It's just big stuff, big things like that. You know, the defense showed today. You know, it makes the offense feel a lot better, feel great, and you know that we can go out there and win football games with a defense that's going to help us.
Amen.